Hello everyone, myself Ajan, Assistant Professor, Department of Civil Engineering, Rohini College of Engineering and Technology. We are discuss about index structures. Okay. First of all, what is index? Index is a method of collecting water from the surface sources like a river, lake, pond. Okay. Then what are the factors governing location of an intake? First of all, the location of index structure should be nearer to the water treatment plant in order to reduce the cost of conveyance of water. Okay. Then the location of index should be selected in a place where there is a less impurities presence. Index should not be located at the downstream of the disposal point of sewage. Then it should not be interference with the river traffic if any. Then the index should be selected at a place from where the water can be taken during driest season of the year also. Type of index structure. Following are the various type of index structures. Simple submerged index, then index tower or river index structure, that is wet index towers, then dry index towers. Then reservoir index, again classified into types: variable depth lake water index, then multi-level index. Then finally canal index structures. Simple submerged index. A submerged index structure consists of simple concrete block or a rock-filled timber grip supporting the starting end of the withdrawal pipe. The withdrawal pipes are generally taken up to the sumble at the shore from where the water is lifted by pumps. The intake opening is generally covered by screens so as to prevent the entry of debris and other particles. In case of lakes where silt tends to settle down, the intake opening is generally kept about 2 to 2.5 meters above the bottom of the lake, and thus to avoid the entry of silt and sediment. This is a simple submerged intake. It is constructed with the help of concrete blocks. Okay. This is a rock-filled timber grip. Okay, this inlet portion of pipe is covered with rock-filled timber grip, so that this type of index structures are called rock-filled timber grip submerged intake. And intake towers are river intake structures. This next type of intake is river intake structure. And these structures are constructed in rivers. Okay, intake towers are generally used on large project and on rivers or reservoir where there is large fluctuation of water level. The wet intake is that type of intake tower in which the water level is practically the same as the level of source of supply. It is sometimes known as jack well and it is most commonly used. It consists of a concrete circular shell filled with water up to the reservoir level and has a vertical inside shaft which is connected to the withdrawal pipe. This wet intake towers. Here the entry ports are provided along the two sides. Entry ports are provided inside of the intake structure. Provide gate control ports or opening in the shaft are provided. Okay. Our gate is operated with the help of manual levers. Then dry intake towers. The essential difference between a dry intake and a wet intake is that in a wet intake, the water enters from the entry ports into the intake and then it enters through the conduit pipe through this separate gate control opening. Whereas in dry intake, water is directly drawn into the withdrawal pipe through the gate entry openings. A dry intake will therefore have no water inside the intake if its gates are closed, whereas wet intake will be full of water even if its gates are closed. That is the main difference between dry intake and wet intake towers. Here water is in this type of wet intake, directly water is entered into the inside of the withdrawal conduits. This is a wet intake towers. Then reservoir intake, when the flow in the river is not get guaranteed throughout of the year of a dam is constructed across it to store water in the reservoir so formed. The reservoir index are practically similar to the river index except that these are located near the upstream face of the dam where maximum depth of water is available. The water level will be same as the reservoir level. This is the reservoir index. Here some three screens are provided according to water level. Water level of the reservoir. Water is entered into the inlet pipes. Okay, that is intake pipes. Then canal intake. In canal intake structures, the intake well is generally located in the bank of the canal and water enters the chamber through the inlet pipe. Inlet pipe is covered with a fine screen. Then flow velocity through the outlet is generally 1.5 meter per second and this helps in determining the area and diameter of the withdrawal pipe. The flow velocity through the bell mouth is limited to about 0.3 meter per second. Now this is a canal intake. Then inlet pipe is covered with outlet pipe is covered with fine screen. What is the purpose of providing fine screen? Through this pipe screen and not entering the debris and other floating particles, then aquatic life also. Okay, so that here one fine screen are provided. Okay, thank you.